Deep inside a lush green forest lived a little squirrel named Sammy. Sammy was a very shy squirrel. He loved to scamper up the tall trees and nibble on juicy berries. His tail would twitch with delight whenever he found a plump acorn, but he always felt most comfortable hiding amongst the leaves, far from the sight of other creatures. One sunny afternoon, Sammy was munching on sunflower seeds he had gathered. A strange sound reached his ears. It was a hushed, frantic chirping carried on the wind. Curious, Sammy peeked out from his hiding spot. A group of robins were huddled together, their chirps filled with worry. Sammy strained to hear their conversation. The robins were talking about a big storm that was coming, a storm so fierce it could uproot trees and send branches tumbling down. Sammy's heart thumped with fear. He had never experienced a storm before. He scurried back to his cozy dray, his mind racing. Should he tell someone? But what if they didn't believe him? What if they laughed at him, a tiny squirrel who thought he knew more than the birds? But then Sammy thought about his friends, the rabbits, the chipmunks, and the other squirrels. They were all in danger and didn't even know it. Sammy knew he had to do something. Taking a deep breath, Sammy decided to warn everyone. He scurried out of his dray and shouted, "A big storm is coming! Everyone, take cover!" He ran through the forest as fast as his little legs could carry him, repeating his warning over and over. At first, no one seemed to take Sammy seriously. The rabbits continued munching on clover, their noses twitching. The chipmunks went on gathering nuts, their cheeks already stuffed. A storm? "Don't be silly, Sammy," chuckled a plump chipmunk, his voice muffled by acorns. "It's a beautiful day." But Sammy refused to be ignored. He knew what he had heard. He continued to run and shout, his voice growing hoarse. "Please, everyone, you must listen. The birds told me about the storm. It's coming." Sammy's persistence started to make some of the animals uneasy. They looked up at the sky. Dark clouds were gathering, moving closer. The wind howled through the trees, no longer a gentle breeze. "Maybe Sammy's right," whispered a rabbit, his nose twitching nervously. "We should find shelter." Finally, the animals started to take heed. They followed Sammy as he led them towards the oldest and sturdiest oak tree in the forest. Its roots ran deep, and its branches were thick and strong. It was the safest place to be during a storm. One by one, the animals huddled together inside the hollow of the old oak tree. Sammy felt a surge of relief. They were all safe now. Just in time, the storm broke. Rain lashed down and the wind roared through the forest. Thunder boomed and lightning flashed, illuminating the frightened faces of the animals. But they were safe inside the oak tree, thanks to Sammy's warning. When the storm finally subsided, the animals emerged from the oak tree. The forest was wet and littered with fallen leaves and branches, but thankfully, no one was hurt. Everyone cheered for Sammy, their little hero. They had all misjudged him, thinking he was just a timid little squirrel. But Sammy had shown great courage in warning everyone about the storm. From that day on, Sammy was no longer known as just a shy squirrel. He was Sammy the Brave, a true hero of the forest, and he learned that even the smallest of creatures can have the biggest hearts and the bravest of souls. And that sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is to raise your voice for those in need, no matter how small you may feel.